Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best 240Hz gaming monitor.
Starting at number 5.
ViewSonic OMNI XG2431. If you want the best gaming monitor with a 240Hz refresh rate and are on a budget, check out the ViewSonic XG2431 instead. You lose out on a few features as you move down in price categories. In this case, it has a lower resolution than the GIGABYTE M27QX, which means it doesn't deliver the same detailed images. However, with its lower resolution, it's easier for your graphics card to maintain a frame rate of 240 frames per second. It also has a smaller 24-inch screen, which isn't ideal for co-op gaming, but it at least has wide viewing angles that keep the image consistent from the sides if you do want to game on it with a friend next to you. The remarkable motion handling makes the ViewSonic stand out against similarly priced displays. There's hardly any noticeable motion blur, and it even has a customizable backlight strobing feature to reduce persistence blur, which not many lower-cost monitors have, but it doesn't work at the same time as VRR. Although it isn't certified by NVIDIA, it's still GIGABYTE compatible. It also has FreeSync support to reduce screen tearing.
Coming at number 4.
GIGABYTE M27Q. If you still find the LG 27GR83QB out of your price range, you can get a lower mid-range option like the GIGABYTE M27QX. Although it has many of the same specs as the LG, it's a slight step down in performance in a few areas, which is the trade-off for getting something cheaper. While it has a fast response time at any refresh rate, it just isn't as good as on the LG, so motion is a bit blurry. However, even at that, it's good enough for most gamers. Unlike the LG, it has a backlight strobing feature that works across a wide refresh rate range to help reduce persistence blur. It even works at the same time as VRR, which is something most monitors can't do. It supports FreeSync and is GIGABYTE compatible, reducing screen tearing with nearly any type of source. Besides that, it has useful features if you also want to connect other devices, like a KVM switch that makes it easy to switch between two different computers and use the same keyboard and mouse connected to the monitor.
At number 3.
LG 27-inch UltraGear QHD. If you prefer getting something cheaper and don't mind having worse picture quality, the LG 27GR83QB is a good alternative to the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 AQDM. While it doesn't have an OLED panel and the same perfect blacks as the ASUS, it has no permanent burn-in risk and is still an excellent gaming monitor. This is because it has an incredible response time at its max refresh rate, meaning motion looks crispy, and it maintains that fast response time at any refresh rate. It even has HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, so you can take full advantage of HDMI 2.1 graphics cards, and this monitor supports all common VRR formats. It has a few extra gaming features that give the user a competitive advantage, like a virtual crosshair that your game's anti-cheat tool won't detect. Lastly, it's a good choice for co-op gaming thanks to its wide viewing angles that keep the image consistent from the sides, but its stand doesn't offer swivel adjustment. If you want a monitor with better ergonomics, check out the Dell Alienware AW2723DF, which has an overclock to 280 Hz but costs more and doesn't support HDMI 2.1 bandwidth.
Number 2 of my list.
ASUS ROG Swift 27-inch. If you find the Dell Alienware AW3225QF out of your price range or don't have a setup to take advantage of its high resolution, check out the ASUS ROG Swift OLED PG27 AQDM. With a lower resolution, it's the best 1440p 240Hz monitor you can get, and while that means images aren't as detailed, it's easier for your graphics card to maintain a high frame rate. It uses an OLED panel with deep and inky blacks, but unlike the Dell, it isn't a QD-OLED, so it doesn't display the same bright highlights and vivid colors. Besides its excellent picture quality, it's a fantastic gaming monitor with a near-instantaneous response time, resulting in almost no motion blur with fast-moving objects. It also has FreeSync VRR support and GSWNC compatibility to reduce screen tearing with both AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards. However, there are some quirks about it, as you need to update it to the latest firmware to get the best HDR performance and the lowest input lag possible. Unfortunately, OLEDs like the ASUS and the Dell are prone to burn in with constant exposure to the same static elements over time. This can be problematic if you only play the same game all the time, but it isn't as much of a concern if you play different games. If you're worried about that, check out the Samsung Odyssey Neo G8S32BG85, which has a 4K resolution and mini LED backlighting, but its picture quality isn't as good as on the ASUS.
And number 1.
Acer Predator X27U. Fasten your seatbelt. Infused with the latest eye care technologies and a blisteringly fast 240Hz refresh and up to 0.01 milliseconds pixel response time. The Predator X27U delivers you a QHD 2560 by 1400 OLED. Add AMD FreeSync Premium to the mix and your gaming experience will be unbeatable. This 27-inch, 2560 by 1440 monitor combines jaw-dropping specs including an OLED panel that supports blazing fast 240Hz refresh rate. This AMD FreeSync Premium monitor takes gameplay to the next level of smooth. The game's frame rate is determined by your graphics card, not the fixed refresh rate of the monitor, giving you a serious competitive edge. Hexa.001.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.